welcome to another video of Grim Dawn, Ashes of Malmouth. So, as I mentioned, I will be doing continued episodes in this series. We're on episode 2. We just got done helping Barnabas clear out the slith inside the well, and we got a devotion shrine. And I said I would go over what I'm going to be doing with the devotion, so let's jump into that real quick. Since we are playing hardcore, and I know that defensive abilities are going to be really important, we decided to go with Quill first. So you take one crossroad into the green affinity and then start working on Quill. Because you are able to pick up a reset potion for devotions and attributes once per playthrough, you're going to get 3 total per character that you make if you do all 3 playthroughs and do the little quest line in the Ashes of Malmouth Ugdenbog territory. Sometimes this will be subject to change based on what I'm doing. So, for example, I'll go a certain path about midway to about 75% of the way through my character in a game, and then when I get towards the ending of that character or an end concept build that I'm coming up with, I'll use one of those potions, reset everything, and go a different path. I'll get into that more detail like later, but right now let's go ahead and continue on with what we were doing. So we will be looking for Milton Hart. I believe that's his name, correct? Yes. Milton Hart. And then we're going to be doing some of the other quests as well. So, you know, early on when you're starting a new character, it's good to basically do every quest that you can, get any crafting component that you can. And killing the ethereal piles or ethereal crystals, I would say, is going to be highly worth it. You really want to pick up all the components you can, crafting, materials, components. It's very, very important. So fun fact, and somebody did mention this in my comment section in my previous video, which I did know, you can actually use pet command and basically control where your tornadoes go. Aha, wind devils. I keep saying tornado, but wind devils. And it also works with mortar trap. So this will be a pretty interesting build. And I would like to reiterate, this is a character I have never made before. I've never done this class combination before. I'm just using the knowledge of the game that I have to display what you can do in Grim Dawn, the kind of things you can come up with. And it's fun. It's fun for me, and it's probably helpful and enjoyable for everybody else. So we can do this little journey together. Figure out how we come up with these ideas. So I am doing more of a caster variant, as I stated before, with this character, but you can do all kinds of things that you would prefer and or like. Little Tim now, so it should have some more points to distribute at some point whenever I get around to it. I'll probably continue to go more of the shaman side for a while and then transition into demolitionist here in a bit. Alright. I also had somebody ask me about why I don't go around breaking every single jar and all that stuff. Personally, I don't feel like it's necessary. I don't have an issue with money typically in this game. The only time you're going to run into, and this is a really good thing to know about Grim Dawn, the only time you're going to run into issues with currency or money in the game is if you go back to the skill vendor and reset your skill points over and over and your devotion points over and over. The more you do that, the more it starts to cost cumulatively over time. So refrain from doing that as much as possible. It's okay to reset here and there. Just pay attention to how many iron bits it's costing you when you do a reset on skill points and on devotion points. Just pay attention to that because it can become extremely costly if you're being overzealous with it. So keep that in mind. They're important. Little bit of information for starting off in Grim Dawn. Right now we're just looking for Milton Hart and all that good stuff. Chests I would say are probably worth grabbing if you're doing a fresh reset or being new to the game. But yeah, I don't have an issue with money typically. As long as I don't overspend or just pay attention to what I'm doing. In fact, around like level 20, I turn off yellow and up. I actually do like, I believe it's rare. Yeah, it's rare and up. So I take off the magical selection and I go rare and up at around like level 20. Honestly, because a lot of the yellow items aren't very good. I mean, if you wanted to make more money or more iron bits in the game, you could technically leave it on magical and up and just go back and sell as much as you prefer. I mean, that's entirely up to you. I'm just telling you what I prefer to do and what I'm comfortable with, and I don't have issues with it. Alright. We're just kind of making way through. It's a little slow starting off. Don't have a lot of bonus movement speed and whatnot, so we gotta bear with it for the time being. In Forgotten Gods, we're gonna have some nice mobility capabilities, which I'm looking pretty forward to. So go ahead and pick up all the Slith necklaces you can. You're gonna need 5 of those here in a second. By the way, if you're new and you don't want any spoilers, just forewarning, you probably will run into spoilers if you're new to Grim Dawn and haven't experienced the game before. There will be a few spoilers in this series, a few meaning all, because I'll be doing basically a full playthrough. Let's say I did not win. About to hit level 11 here. Decent amount of skill points to throw around. I really don't need to go this way. I've been this way before. That's more than likely where I found Pharos. Go ahead and head up this way. So one of the important things to survivability, like I was saying before, is you want to make sure your defensive ability is doing well, your armor's doing well. Armor absorption is another really important defensive stat. Typically stacking that whenever they're having issues dying. Resistances obviously are very valuable. They become more valuable depending on the difficulty of the game, so a little more forgiving in the first playthrough. Less forgiving in Elite, and way more unforgiving in Ultimate, obviously. It's also good to pay attention to what mobs do. So, like, you know, sometimes people are like, well, I have 80 poison resist even. Poison mobs kill me, and if you pay attention to the debuffs they're throwing on you, you'll often see your resistances being reduced from the enemy, which in turn makes you take more damage. So even overcapping can effectively be, you know, a valuable stat if you know what the mob does or the boss does, especially since you can kind of prepare for that. You might as well get down in the cave, doing general exploration. Go ahead and check out our skill points real quick. So we can choose our second class, but we don't have to spend any points in that class, which is nice. So we can go and grab that second class, which will be the demo. Now this is going to be really valuable early on, Flame Touched. As you can see, like I was stating before, the Wind Devil will be dealing electrocute, lightning, and physical damage. So we are getting the % lightning damage increase from this buff, which is going to be really nice for us, as well as electrocute damage. So this really is right up our alley. On top of that, we're getting the OA. So OA is something you really want to pay attention to as well. You want your OA to be as high as possible, and it will allow you to hit, crit, and the critical damage that you're dealing to enemies will all be increased based off that. Go ahead and pump this up. Start putting some points into Raging Tempest. So not only are we doing flat physical damage, we'll be dealing flat cold damage as well on these Wind Devils, and then we're going to be dropping the elemental resistance on enemies by 3%. Obviously, the more that we scale that up, the more valuable it will become, so that's where the Quill is starting to kick in for us now, because we're getting a 15% elemental damage increase. So any elemental damage we're dealing, whether it be fire, lightning, cold, that's going to be increased because we have the Quill now. At least the first point into Quill, so we're getting a bonus from that all around, which is really nice. So we just talked to that guy and basically get some bonus experience, which is nice. And we will go ahead and put our spirit to get this to about 10. The reason why putting some spirit early on is going to be valuable is because if you look at your mastery bar here, I mentioned this before, that you will get a lot of your cunning and spirit and bonus damage stats from the mastery bar itself. As you can see, physique is actually the highest stat you get here out of the 3 for shaman, so we're not going to get as much spirit. And for the demo, it's looking like cunning is going to be the highest stat for us there. So you want to pay attention to that as well. You might have to, depending on the classes you pick, you might have to find it through gear. I will sometimes put like 10 or 15 points into spirit on a character, but then obviously the rest goes to physique. It'll just give you that extra little boost early on for the mana regen. As you can see, the Wind Devils are doing some really nice damage. Doing some work. Energy regen kicking in, which is real nice. Spirit also boosts the magical damage you deal, and magical dot duration damage you deal as well. You can find all that information, by the way. A lot of the information you might need, you can just highlight, for example, like spirit, and it'll show you how many points you've put into it. It shows you the bonus magical damage, bonus dot damage, bonus energy regen. So that's all the things spirit will do for you. It's working the same for defensive ability or offensive ability, and what this will do is it'll basically take the last mob that you fought, that you hit and or hit you, and it will show you what your chances of hitting that target were and critting them, and their chances of hitting and critting you. And it'll basically, again, it'll rate that based off the last thing that hit you and the last thing that you hit. So you can see the Rift Hound Howler, and right here you can see the Deep Mire Warrior. So these are the last 2 things that I hit and or hit me. The values will vary based on what you're fighting. So like bosses, for example, those values will vary immensely. So let's say I'm in Ultimate and I'm running one of my 100 characters. My chance to hit and crit normal mobs can be anywhere. I mean, it's going to be a 100% chance to hit, but the crit will be like, 25 to 30% chance. Against bosses, it'll be a 100% chance to hit with like maybe a 15% chance to crit, just because their values are going to be higher than normal mobs. Kill Julius. Last one we need to find will be Negan, on top of Milton. But more or less, if you want to get all the quests done in this game, you'll see stars on a little mini-map when you're near them most of the times. Not always, but most of the time. And then just try to reveal everything, explore everything. It's usually typically highly worth it, especially if you're starting off new. I'm not going to be worried about picking up that yellow, but we'll go sell real quick. Typically when I go sell, I'll just go ahead and turn in the quest that I have. Don't have to do that, but really up to you. So this will be an upgrade for us actually, and I did mention that before. Go ahead and put this on. This one does in fact lightning and electrocute, so this could be technically even valuable, so I can hang on to that if I decide to start using it. That. So this will actually be an upgrade for us overall. We're getting some health regen, energy regen, we're getting some pierce and fire resist. So you want to pick up resistance wherever you can. Very valuable early on in my opinion, so we're going to do that route. That. Guns I don't typically use with most of my builds, so. So we have lightning and electrocute damage here. We also have cold and frostburn on our offhand. So really, either way, this can be valuable for us. But really, I'd rather have the percent physique right now. I think that's going to be better for us. Physique will actually boost our survivability, so I'm going to hang on to that. Go ahead and toss in all kinds of stuff here. Alright, we don't really care about fire burn damage right now, so not a big deal. Alright. Technically an upgrade. Hang on to the salt bag. Do not get rid of salt bag. There's a reason for it. Every character you make, keep this. Put it in your inventory in the trade stash, whatever you gotta do. This comes in handy later on for a secret quest line. Throwing it out there.
Got something you need stashed. I'll hold on to that for you.
Go ahead and turn this in.
See anything you like?
What that basically did is it gave us this amulet for the reward. The one I got's overall probably better. Poison damage, don't need it. Okay. Go ahead and read these. But I will get into components here soon, but I'm not too worried about it just yet. Back into shaman side. So let's go ahead and put some points into this. So you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can, you know, you can do whatever you would like to do as far as the leveling process goes. Really, the main thing you want to focus on and stack is defensive abilities, just to play it safe. It's not too big of a deal on your first playthrough and early on, but if you're playing hardcore especially, you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to not get one pop. Okay, we can go around here and turn in these slith necklaces. Yeah, we have enough. You only need 5, I got 7 right now. Go. It'll give you a ring. Like I said, you can highlight the quest rewards and it'll actually show you what you got for completing the quest. 10% damage to bee skin, energy regen, percent energy regen, and 10 elemental resistance. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the left ring here, because we're getting 10% elemental resistance and some other nice decent stats there. That's going to be good. Obviously, like I said, you want to stack resist wherever you can.
I can't do that yet.
Venture into the cave. Alright, I believe there's a shrine in here.
That skill's not ready.
Nothing too enthusiastic going on during the beginning of the game. Just running through, dropping some wind devils. Almost said tornado. Alright, so there's a shrine here. These shrines that are corrupted like this, that have this red mist and or aura coming off them, they're basically just kill shrines. You just have to clear a wave of monsters and then you get the point. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into our devotion. Next point into Quill. So we're getting some Aether resistance out of this, which is really nice. Aether and Chaos resist are very difficult to come by when you're starting out in Grim Dawn, especially if you have nothing like I stated before, so that's another reason why I like Quill a lot. Another really valuable devotion when starting off in Grim Dawn is going to be Empty Throne. Honestly, even if you like overcap on the purple affinity and you're going for something and you only need like, let's say 6 purple affinity and you might be at like 10, 12, 13, whatever, this is really valuable and hard to pass up. I would say that this is too good to not use in a lot of situations. Once you get all the items you need and start being able to stack up all the augments and components that you need and get like perfect rolls on gear and so on and so forth, I would say you could probably drop it later, but it's going to be really important for a large majority of the game. The stun resistance reduction on it is super good, as well as the Chaos Aether and Pierce resistance. So we're basically just running through, we're looking for Negan right now. Lovely Wind Devils. Trapdoor, come down here. We will actually get a quest to find a hidden stash. You can actually go find the stash first and then come talk to this guy and let him know you found it if you'd like, but either way works. Fortunately, our friend is not going to make it. He has been mortally wounded. Before he goes, he lets you know about treasure that he has hidden. It is but shame you cannot save him. So one of the reasons why I don't destroy every single barrel and or breakable pod, whatever it is, one of the reasons is because you typically don't get a whole lot out of them. So I don't deem it necessary to destroy every one of them I come across. There's Negan. Did in fact level up. Probably going to go ahead and start heading down this way to grab Maelstrom, which gives us that bonus lightning damage. It is valuable to level up the mastery bar as well because you do increase how much health and energy you get. So also keep that in mind, as well as all your main stats, physique, cunning, and spirit. And the hidden stash will be all the way over here to the left. Through like a little stream. Hidden in a tree trunk, actually. That clever man. He hid his treasures in a tree trunk. Component, like I said, pick them all up that you can. They will be used later for tons of crafting and other important things you'll need for your character. So here's the hidden stash right here. Experience. You get Isaac Spalders, and they typically have some pretty solid stats on them, as you can see. Decent armor, got some elemental damage out of it, physique, cunning, health, pierce resist, elemental resist, so clearly an upgrade for us all around. But alright, this will probably conclude episode 2, and we will be picking up in episode 3, and we will continue on. So, I thank everybody for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series. Leave some feedback down in the comments. If you haven't, please subscribe, like the video, share all that good stuff. It helps me out immensely. And as always, it's greatly appreciated. for all the support that I do get on my channel. And I will see you guys very soon. All right, thank you for watching.